Hello, I want to welcome you to a new technique that I am starting to work with. I've been working on people now for a little bit and been having wonderful success rate with removing scar tissue on people. And now I'm going to start working on animals, especially horses. This horse here has been off for a year, retired barrel horse, and gonna do a little bit of rehabilitation type work. Not that he really needs it, but what I found in just by going through his body, he had a spot behind his right ear here, that really puffed out really big, and it felt really sensitive to the touch. So anytime you went to touch that, he would pin his ears, and there was pressure through down here going to his throat latch, and then this whole upper throat latch right here is really lots of scar tissue, and he was really tender right about into there. So anytime you kind of touched him over here on this right side, actually it would be your left side if you're looking at him, but to me, his right side, anything over here like a head stall on the side of his face was putting pressure on where it hurt. So that would be an area that could cause him pain. Say if you're in an arena and as soon as you go to do anything and lift that horse's face, it's going to put pressure right there a little bit, depending on what kind of bit you have. And that right there could get them to jack their head up because they are feeling pain. And where he has like a long piece of scar tissue on both sides, not so bad on this side, but the other side it's really thick and it's really tight. You see him kind of shake his head. I've been doing some work in through here. But anytime he went to turn his head to the left or to the right, that scar tissue would just stand out really tight. So he could turn it, but he had a problem getting it really high and really unlocking full mobility of that axis in that jaw area, because what it was is whatever swelling was causing below his ear, it was hooked to right about the jawline on both sides. So at some point or another, he had injury to his jaw, whether it be maybe pulling back or something at one point that caused some injury to his jaw, and it's caused him some scar tissue right there. So therefore, if you have an older barrel horse that is wanting to compete again, they're not going to be as mobile and be able to do the things that you truly want to do. They will be able to move as good as they can. So what I'm doing is I am offering a new technique that I'm going to master before I put it into my book. And it's how to release scar tissue on animals. And first thing I'm going to do is work on horses. So I'm going to open my books for 2 horses to come in that need to be rehabilitated in like any kind of painful areas. Any kind of lameness issue is going to come, what it's going to come to is areas in the base of the spine here that is attached, because all scar tissue is attached to the base of the spine. So as that whole area that moves, it's all attached to that area. So anything, if he has any kind of area on his whole body that's out of whack, it's all going to come to point right here in his back of his head. And so I've figured out a technique that has been able to trigger release scar tissue. I can do it manually, like I've been working on his withers here, because he's got a high wither. He's really tall. I'm like 5'10", and you can see how tall he is. And we're kind of standing up on a little hill here. But what I was doing is kind of releasing some scar tissue on his wither area. Because he has scar tissue on his wither area, it really hinders his shoulder mobility. So his shoulder mobility can't work as good if he's got scar tissue over his wither area, which could be from a lot of different things. And being that he's so big and tall and probably fast, I don't know, I've never rode him, I'm just working with him body-wise, this could hinder him going any faster. He couldn't go much faster than what he's capable of, in other words. So this scar tissue that he has over here is hindering his mobility. And when it hinders his mobility, he can't move that shoulder, get it up and out of that barrel as easy as a horse with no scar tissue up here in this wither and shoulder area. So if he wants to walk around, I think that's fine, because what's happening is his body is telling him where he needs to be. And so what I'm going to keep doing is keep moving that wither. I'm not really moving it up and down, but I'm just kind of like sliding that skin and meat back and forth over the top of the spine and really stretching it, because it's almost like stuck in right there. There, he's starting to release. You see him starting to release right now? That's great. We got into some trigger release right there. He's got a knot right here. It's about base of the neck. Yeah, there's another good release. Good boy. You're doing so good. I just met this gelding today. He's here just to be able to see if we can make him feel younger and feel good. So I got that part right there, a really good trigger release. I've also been working with him right about that jawline right there, really getting him to stretch that head and neck out and stretch that jaw out. See, look at, he's already getting used to me stretching him out. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? What a good boy. If he wants to go up, I just keep pressure on there until he puts it down. When he puts it down in a stretch, it feels really, really good. Right? Almost. So now I'm kind of using my thumb to, there we go, there we go. That was the perfect release. That's what I want right there. Good boy. Good boy. That was a good stretch. And what I'm doing is I am stretching his jowl and his neck out. So right now he's kind of compacted with scar tissue. And so what I'm doing is I'm stretching that out. You know how that felt really good, right? I've done this with my own body because my body was kind of compacted like that too. And the more you release that, the better it feels. That's why when I released right there, it felt so good. And then also I did some trigger release here at this area right here. And that's kind of like where your collarbone would be, right above your collarbone, really stretching that neck out. And he really, really, really got into that. He's really stretching that out. He's like, oh, that feels good. I've almost got that one knot. Yeah, I already got it out. Good. There's one knot out. Still working on the second knot up higher in his neck. But he had two huge knots. I got one, so that's good. I've been at him for about an hour. There, now he's going to stretch that neck. There you go. Good boy. Now I lift up right there and release. Good boy. He knows what to do. He knows what to do by meaning how it feels. It's kind of a good stretch feeling right there for him, so that's why he holds that right there longer. Good job. So this is the first horse that I have worked with, and what I'm doing is I'm using my intuition. I have extremely good intuition on what I need to do with these animals, plus I'm an animal communicator too. So it makes it easier to talk to these horses and see what they truly need. Yeah, isn't he awesome? He's going to be so fun to work with. So we've been working all that area there. I've already got that right ear underneath that. That bubble is actually completely gone. It's not sore anymore. And what I did is I just released the back of the jowls right here. So I released this back of this jowl on this side right here a lot because it was really tight right there. And by doing that, I took the swelling out of the bottom of the ear. It was connected. And then that was really painful because it was swollen. And now it's not swollen, and now it's not painful anymore. So I've gotten rid of that. Also gotten rid of one large lump, and then had a good release on the top. That's not too bad for a first day's work. This is the first time this gelding's been here or seen this place, so you can see he's been a barrel horse his whole life. I believe he's 15 years old. So for a 15-year-old barrel horse that's bred for speed, he's pretty relaxed, and that's what I like in a horse when you're done with the session, is to be relaxed. Absolutely amazing. I can't wait to see what he's going to be like in about a month of body work. So if you're interested in having me work with your animals in a physical state, I'm going to take openings for 2 horses that need any kind of rehabilitation. If there's things going on with the horses that possibly can pertain to scar tissue, which usually everything does in one way, shape, or form, that is something that I can work through by doing body work, a certain type of body work. So if you're interested, just get a hold of me. I will link my email address to the description box, and you can just email if you are interested. I am in the Weatherford, Texas vicinity. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.